today I'm going to share with you why I became a life coach and what is a life coach anyways, right? Like you hear these people like, oh, I'm a life coach. I'm a life coach. It's like, all right, well, what do you do? Like, do you help me have a better life? Do you help me get a job? So I'll share with you what a life coach is, how to build your self-esteem, how to heal the past. And if you're being really hard on yourself, I think you'll like this video because you'll be able to see some of yourself in my shares. I have a feeling. Back in 2017, I was like overweight. I was like depressed. I was addicted to drugs. I was taking like ecstasy pills all the time. And I was just like not in a good place. My roommate was a drug addict. And I remember I was only making like $23,000 a year, which is not a lot for someone who's graduated from college. It was probably one of the saddest times of my life. I was depressed. I didn't really have any faith in myself, or I didn't have confidence in my abilities. I felt like I was a horrible employee. Like I wasn't good at school. Like I almost failed out of school. Like I was on academic probation compared to a lot of my classmates, even in high school, maybe like a B- average, you know? I was pretty much at the lowest point of my life. And there was a guy named Chris Wong who said, hey guys, I'm getting my life coaching certification. And I was like, you know what? My life sucks anyways. Like, let's just do this. Like, who cares, you know? Talked to Chris, and it was the first time someone has ever mentioned to me like the energy levels. And I took an exam and I got really low scores, like a two or three, which is like pretty bad, I would say, for most of it. I was a 3 and 4 for some of it. But for the most part, it was like really negative energy. And so think of it this way, like your 7s are like Mother Teresa, your Gandhis, like people that are spiritually enlightened, right? People that like have a lot of purpose, like their energy, their frequency is at a vibration where everyone knows who they are because like they're just serving from a spiritual place. Your 6s are like Obama, right? People who are very charismatic, who have something in them, have a strong purpose, right? Your 5s are like your business CEOs, right? It could be like Elon Musk or, you know, Bill Gates, or people who are like very successful, very confident. And your 4s are, I would say, like pretty ambitious people, but still like normal people, right? So this exam taught me that I had a long way to go in terms of my confidence, my energy level, my vibration, and my purpose. Fast forward 2017, I met a life coach at a networking event. Her name is Jocelyn, and she was super persistent. Meanwhile, I was like partying, doing drugs, like messing up my life basically. She invited me 3 times to this life coaching seminar where there was a room of like 24 people, and we were all like sitting, they were all training to become a life coach. And this was like very intense. Like think like MBA, but emotional intelligence, right? So like they have to speak in front of a room. They have to be able to share vulnerably and that's leadership, right? To be vulnerable in front of a lot of people. I was only making $60,000 at that time, but I put a deposit for a $16,500 course. That was more than my freaking rent, right? So like, it was the scariest thing I ever did because it just felt like so much money at the time. But I was like, you know what? Let me invest in myself. Like, let's just see what happens if I actually double down on Davidson. And it was just interesting. And I'm not gonna lie, like I like seeing people cry and all that stuff too, because I'm like, oh, I love a good cry. Like maybe I'll cry a lot. And it was true. I cried 180 days out of like the 365 days that I was there. I ended up spending $100,000 on 7 different programs, and it was cool because I got to travel to Fiji. Because when you grow up poor, you're like, I can't travel. Like that's like what rich people do. Like poor people like me, like we don't travel, you know? After each of these programs, I had like another breakthrough. Like, oh, actually I can travel too. Like I deserve to travel too, you know? And even wearing designer clothes, I was like, well, that's what rich people do. And then when I bought my first like designer clothes, I was like, wow, maybe I'm worthy of more than that, you know? So I had all these different breakthroughs. Long story short, that's why I've created this program, a 52-week program, because I've gone through so much, and I just do a combination of storytelling and bringing other vulnerable leaders to share about their journey. I hope that you guys could take something with you to take that chance, like whether it's to start that YouTube channel, to write that book, to start the podcast, to go after that person that you're attracted to, but you're afraid that they're going to reject you, you know? That's the point of this program that I'm creating, and it's about 10,000 hours worth of work that I really put into this, right? Whether it's reading 600 books, listening to 300 podcasts, attending conferences all over the world. I'm putting it into this program because I know, because it's worked for me, right? So poor Vietnamese person from, whose parents were refugees from the Vietnam War, who lived off of government assistance, lived in a home where I lived in the living room, and my sisters and us had a bunk bed in the living room with multi-families in a small house. One day be able to buy a house, publish a book, 300 episode podcast, I think you can too, right? Because there's nothing that's separating me from you, right? It's just that I was able to take action. I was able to put myself out there, and that's what I hope you get from this video. And if you like this video, follow, subscribe, share it, comment below what you want to see next. My next video is going to be about mental health and my journey through therapy. Cheers. Love you guys.